And for the longest time, it felt like nothing could rattle the empire of Beyoncé and Jay-Z. From chart-topping hits to billion-dollar business ventures, they appeared indestructible, setting the gold standard for power couples across the globe. But behind the red carpet moments and carefully orchestrated public appearances, whispers have grown louder. Could these two icons have taken an unconventional path just to keep their marriage intact? Some believe they've agreed to a relationship that bends traditional rules, allowing each other freedoms that regular couples wouldn't dare entertain. Is this arrangement a desperate attempt to save their family from another infidelity crisis? Or are the swirling rumors pure fiction conjured by an ever-suspicious internet? One thing's for sure, the stakes are sky high when you're dealing with the Carters, and the truth might be more surprising than anyone realizes. Rumors about celebrities having open relationships aren't rare, but when the chatter involves Beyoncé and Jay-Z, the attention skyrockets. For years, fans have documented every subtle hint that might reveal cracks in their seemingly perfect love story. Early on, it was easy to brush these rumors aside. Every famous couple deals with gossip, right? But insiders claim that ever since allegations of Jay-Z's cheating went from rumor to confirmed confession, the couple has never been quite the same. Strict boundaries spark speculation. Reports that Beyoncé set ironclad rules for Jay-Z's interactions, like avoiding one-on-one meetings with certain female associates, sparked debate. Was this simply her way of preserving trust and preventing history from repeating itself, or part of something deeper and more complicated? Some fans were shocked by the possibility of that level of control, while others sympathized, arguing that after such a betrayal, you have every right to protect yourself. Why an open agreement? The biggest talking point online is this: if those rules are so strict, why would the couple even need them unless they're allowing some kind of flexibility in other areas? One theory suggests that part of the compromise for staying together might be a carefully managed open relationship. Yet others argue the restrictions themselves make the idea of an open arrangement sound contradictory. After all, if Beyoncé is so guarded about Jay-Z's interactions, would she really be open to him seeing other people? It's a puzzle that keeps fans and critics constantly guessing. But that wasn't the whole story. Nothing shifted public perception of the Carters more dramatically than the moment Jay-Z laid his soul bare about his cheating. For years, rumors swarmed, but it was that infamous elevator incident with Solange in 2014 that essentially launched cheating speculation into mainstream conversation. Suddenly, the internet lit up with theories about side relationships, cryptic lyrics, and hidden clues, Jay-Z's confession, and emotional baggage. In his candid interviews, Jay-Z spoke about carrying unresolved childhood wounds that impacted his ability to show vulnerability. It was a startling revelation from a man who had long been seen as untouchable. When he confessed that he'd harmed the very person he cherished most, it triggered empathy and outrage among fans. How, people asked, could anyone betray Beyoncé, the global icon, the unstoppable force behind hits like Crazy in Love and Formation? And Beyoncé's response through Lemonade. Queen Bey wasted no time channeling her heartbreak into art. Her album Lemonade was a cultural earthquake. Cinematic visuals, searing lyrics, and an undercurrent of empowerment resonated with millions. Fans dissected every stanza for hidden references to Jay-Z's mistakes, looking for the identity of Becky with the good hair, and praising Beyoncé for refusing to silently accept betrayal. But as the dust settled, something curious happened. Rather than end her marriage, Beyoncé chose to fight for it, or possibly redefine it. On the outside, it looked like an inspiring love story about forgiveness. Yet behind closed doors, some insiders insist that forgiveness came with new clauses that forever altered their dynamic. The open relationship connection. Could the emotional fallout from Jay-Z's behavior have paved the way for a more flexible relationship structure? For a couple of their stature, with businesses intertwined and children to raise, an official separation could prove devastating on multiple levels. Then again, no matter how rich and famous you are, marriage is still deeply personal. Some suspect they found a middle ground, maintain the family unit while allowing each other certain freedoms, a scenario easier managed if both parties have laid out a very specific set of rules. Of course, skeptics say this is all gossip. Still, for fans who've followed every turn in their relationship, the signs of something unconventional remain hard to ignore. And what happened next would shock everyone. One of the most persistent rumors fueling speculation is that the Carters lead largely separate lives in separate homes. Now, for a couple worth a collective fortune, owning multiple properties is hardly unusual. But insiders whisper that this is more than just luxurious real estate collecting dust. It's a strategic distance meant to keep the peace, a powerful partnership, or a staged alliance. The Carters are brand ambassadors for themselves. They've masterfully leveraged their combined star power to secure deals in music, fashion, streaming platforms, and more. When you've cultivated a certain image, parting ways publicly could jeopardize everything you've built. And so, some observers believe they stay together to keep the empire stable, yet they do so on carefully negotiated terms. The physical distance as proof. Critics of the open relationship theory interpret the separate housing issue differently. They see it less as evidence of personal freedom and more as a sign of lingering hostility or unresolved trust issues. If you trust each other, they argue, why do you need to live apart? But for others, living separately doesn't necessarily imply distrust. They might just be forging a unique approach to marriage, especially given the size of their empire and the constant swirl of paparazzi intrusion. Multiple reports suggest the Carters have engaged in therapy sessions, both individually and as a couple. Therapy can be transformative, especially in high-profile relationships riddled with intense public scrutiny. Some say their counselors may have recommended giving each other breathing room to preserve harmony. Others interpret therapy as further proof that something radical, like an open marriage, might have been introduced as a coping strategy. Regardless of which side you believe, the question remains, if the rumors about separate homes are true, is it a harbinger of more trouble, or a genius move that keeps them both content and prevents further scandal? It's hard to imagine the unstoppable Beyoncé facing negative press from her own fans, yet cracks have indeed formed in the once impenetrable Bayhive armor. Even megastars aren't immune to shifting tides in public opinion, and recent events suggest some of her base has begun questioning her decisions. The Ivy Park fallout. Beyoncé's partnership with Adidas for her Ivy Park athleisure line was initially met with massive hype. Collections sold out at lightning speed, and social media was ablaze with celebrity endorsements. But things took a turn when new drops were met with lukewarm reactions, and insiders pointed to disagreements over creative direction and marketing. Critics blame mismanagement and a lack of clarity for the project's downfall, tarnishing the shiny veneer Beyoncé had cultivated around her business ventures. Silence on social issues. While Beyoncé has never been shy about celebrating her culture and Black excellence in her performances and visual albums, some fans feel she chooses her battles too cautiously. In a world where celebrities increasingly speak out on every social movement, her carefully timed statements come across as measured, even detached. This has raised eyebrows among fans who expect the Queen to be vocal, especially on urgent controversies. Adding to the tension, Beyoncé's occasional forays into country or other unexpected genres have divided her audience. Some see it as artistic evolution, others as strategic pandering. For an artist of her caliber, even a perceived misstep can alienate supporters. It's not that she's losing her entire fan base, far from it. However, the fractures are noticeable enough to suggest that her influence, while still massive, isn't as bulletproof as it once was. Combine these issues with whispers about her personal life, and you have a perfect storm of speculation. Are the slip-ups in her business and public relations fueling her desire to keep the marital bond, no matter what form it takes, intact? Or is she so focused on damage control with her brand that her personal life has to follow a new set of rules just to stay afloat? As the lines between personal and professional
don't forget
blur,
the Carter.
Jay-Z
Now
has been
others
dealing
humorously
with an onslaught
chimed
of
in.
legal trouble.
Everyone say,
While
"Hey,
lawsuits
Miss
are far
Knowles."
from rare in big
Now,
business,
why is
it's the
Beyoncé
pattern
trying
and
to
frequency
distance
that have
herself?
raised eyebrows, allegations of shady business practices. From disputes over streaming service royalties to arguments about contract clauses in artist deals, Jay-Z has faced multiple court cases in recent years. Critics claim he's using his vast resources to overpower smaller entities, while supporters say these lawsuits are just the cost of doing business at his level. The Diddy connection. It's impossible to talk about Jay-Z's moves without drawing parallels to fellow mogul Diddy. Both rose from the hip-hop scene, expanded into liquor and fashion, and now find themselves forever entangled in controversies, some of which have resulted in legal battles. The two are often perceived as frenemies, occasionally united by mutual interests, but equally capable of rivalry when the stakes are high.